pledge allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America.
One nation.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I must say that slight delay with the Zoom gives is kind of an eerie thing. If you're just one beat behind us.
Andrew Benson, Doug Day,
Here.
Bronwyn Losey,
Here.
Joseph Wetmore,
Here.
Edward Levine.
Here. I've got 6:34 on my phone here, so I guess that's what it goes by.
6:35 on mine.
I've got 6:35 on my phone now, so I guess that's what we got. So we have the public hearing scheduled for 6:35. So is there a motion to open the public hearing to consider a temporary moratorium on certain land use development and zoning reviews and approvals in the rural agricultural zone for a period of 1 year?
I'll move it. Second it.
Okay,
I think there's something on the screen that we need to click.
Oh,
I can't quite read it from here.
is there any further discussion? I guess not.
let's see, that was Joe and Andrew, is that correct?
Yeah.
6:35. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
We have someone waiting in the weight room pertaining to
Yes,
this.
I believe so. There's someone named John H., who I don't know if they're signed up for anything, so I'll admit them.
I also have someone named Rita Vida from Zoom.
She was the one that called today, CJ, that said she was going to be zooming in tonight.
Okay, great. I don't see anyone in the waiting room besides John, Dan, and Dave Herrick, who I believe are showing up elsewhere on the agenda. Oh, yes, hold on just a moment.
She was the one that called today, CJ, that said she was going to be zooming in tonight.
Okay, great. I don't see anyone in the waiting room besides John, Dan, and Dave Herrick, who I believe are showing up elsewhere on the agenda. Yes.
YouTube going, we're doing the featuring.
Interesting. So you want to, which one do you want to start with? You want to start with Ms. Buda first?
She was the one that called today, CJ, that said she was going to be zooming in tonight.
Okay, great. I don't see anyone in the waiting room besides John, Dan, and Dave Herrick, who I believe are showing up elsewhere on the agenda. Yes. Let me message her and.
Am I having some difficulty here hearing this?
That's, I think that's just a repeat of what I was saying to CJ.
Is she listening on YouTube?
Alita, are you able to hear us?
Yes, yes, I am.
Can you stop your YouTube because there's a delay and so it makes things totally nutty.
Ready to go, brown one, IT person.
That's me.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes.
That better? Okay. So, Ms. Guda, please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. My name is Alita Gaida. I'm a partner at the law firm of Couch White in Albany, New York. I represent Franklin Land Associates, and my client has submitted a site plan application for a proposal in the RA district in August of this year. So we provided a comment letter to the town, I believe the Bowler Engineering firm did, that provides a little more detail on some comments we have on the moratorium, but this moratorium would stop the processing of this application. And essentially our comments relate to the fact that the moratorium itself is on the basis that the comprehensive plan was recently adopted and that's why a whole year moratorium needs to go into effect now. But we did have a question about that since the comprehensive plan was adopted in May 2018. And now, very shortly after my client's application was filed, this came out, and it will, impact their ability to go forward for at least a year. We also noticed that the comprehensive plan calls for a variety of mixes of zoning within what is now the RA district. And so a moratorium this broad on all kinds of applications is kind of out of the scope of what the comprehensive plan wants to see as the ultimate outcome for zoning. So we would, our comment is that maybe the limit on use can be tailored more closely to what the comprehensive plan is looking at for that ultimate zoning, so that more uses could still be considered in the next year while the ultimate, zoning goals set forth in the comprehensive plan are developed by the town board. And I think I will leave the rest of the comments to the contents of the letter itself. And I, again, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Yes, I received a letter this afternoon, thank you, and I distributed all the town board members so they have it, not only via email, but also hard copies.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Are there any more comments from you? Can I move on? And thank you for those comments, by the way. Okay, CJ, I guess we'll go to John H.
Okay, asking John H. to unmute.
I have no comment. I'm just merely observing.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the waiting room, CJ, that you can see?
No, we have John Dan, who's going to be speaking shortly, and Dave Herrick of TG Miller are the only other two.
Okay, we still have nothing pertaining to the public hearing that you're aware of.
That's correct.
Okay. Does anybody here in the town hall want to comment on the public hearing today, on the moratorium? Anybody before we close?
You asking for public comments?
Yes, the public hearing is open for the moratorium.
Yes, I'd like to speak.
Okay, you want to come up, please, and identify what you got.
Yeah, first name is Hugh, last name is Bahar, Bahar. And a couple town board meetings ago, there was I believe, a voice poll taken as to whether or not this board is in favor of moratoriums. And I don't think it's just for RA, I believe it's for other districts as well, perhaps B and L. But I would like to side with Doug Dake's comments at the time, which is he was not for the moratoriums. And I'm in the same position. I think this board needs to move on zoning changes that have been in the works for over 3.5 years, from my understanding, implement those zoning changes into the comprehensive plan and get it done with, instead of restricting landowners' use and ability to use their land and apply for permits to construct, especially in the RA zone. I am concerned that the town attorney has said that if we implement these zoning changes or zoning moratoriums, that we may end up putting the town of Lansing in a risk position as far as lawsuits from landowners. And I don't think anything I've heard so far justifies the moratorium this board is considering in the RA and any other zoning area of the town. So from what I've heard from Guy Crow in this meeting, while we've been in this room, and from what I've heard and what Doug Dake has said, I take the same position. I think it's short-sighted. I think that this board is going to get distracted with other things and not get the job done and expose the town to lawsuits. And I don't think anybody on this board is going to be the one who has to address lawsuits that come from landowners. Whether this moratorium is a year or 2 years or however long it takes to get the zoning changed, it's not going to happen overnight. We've had plenty of time to get it done, and it hasn't gotten done. So I'm at a loss to explain what a moratorium is going to do for the town as a whole. I understand if there's particular projects this town has concern, the town board has concern about, whether it's the plot of land that NICEAG currently owns, or whether it's a gas station going down potentially on down towards the schools, or whether it's any other particular piece of property, putting a moratorium in that prevents private landowners from developing their land as they choose needs to have a much better basis than this town board is currently using and holding. And I share Doug's concerns and I share Guy Crow's concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else want to have a public comment? Feel free, Jean. Jean, you want to come up here? And...
Sure. I'm just here to agree with Doug.
Okay, just for the record, it's Jean Kirby, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And I agree too with the tremendous taxes we're paying that we landowners should have a choice of what we do with our land. And just totally agree with Doug Beck's position and hope this board will follow through with that. A right we should have as landowners. And farms, we work harder than anybody, you know.
Okay. Thank you, Jean.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to have a comment for a public hearing? Okay. We'll have it when you are make a motion to pass it. We'll have discussion. So in that case, if there's no other comments to the public hearing, I'd like to move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's move on to number.
Opposed?
Okay, let's move on to item 5, which is the resolution adopting local law number 3 of 2021, temporary moratorium on certain land, on certain land use development and zoning reviews and approvals in the rural agricultural zone for a period of 1 year. Someone like to make a motion?
I would actually like to go into executive session and get some advice from my attorney.
Okay. And we have.
Hold on. Just to be clear, you wouldn't go to executive session, you'd go into closed session.
Closed session, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's okay. It really is a hyper-technical distinction, but unfortunately, it is one still made pointlessly before the courts on a routine basis.
And what is the reason for going to a closed session?
I would like to get advice from the attorney.
Is that a valid reason?
Yes.
Sally?
I couldn't hear him.
I'd like to get advice from you on this issue.
To go into closed session to get confidential legal advice, including as respects a matter where litigation is likely, pending, threatened, etc., is a proper basis for a closed session. Yes.
Okay, so Joe's made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
So my apologies to the audience. We're going to have to ask you to leave the room while we go into closed session.
I think it was Zoom, we're gonna have to turn off.
Yeah, can turn off Zoom somehow.
Right. I have nothing here, right?
No, CJ, you have, can you turn off
Okay.
Zoom?
Yes, hold on just a moment. I can't turn off Zoom, but I can turn off YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Get it to stop.
Oh.